Okay, so in this video today, I wanted to make this one a lot shorter than my last few videos, as I know they've been extremely long, and I'm sure not everybody wants to sit and listen to me talk for 45 minutes. So let's get straight into this video and hopefully keep it quite short. But what I wanted to show you today was the Chrome and Edge extensions that I use to help me find books and just help me with my publishing business in general. Now, these are all free and these are ones that I use myself, and I think they're really going to help you out if you don't have these already. Okay, so the first one and my favorite one is DS Amazon Quickview, and I think I've said about this one quite a lot in quite a few of my videos, but it's definitely one of my favorite extensions for Chrome. So as you can see, I'm actually using Microsoft Edge, and it lets me put extensions on there just as I would on Chrome. I can't speak on behalf of Firefox, so if you're using Chrome or Edge, then you're good to go with these extensions. Okay, so for any of these extensions, all you need to do is just come across to Google and type them in. So this one, DS Amazon Quickview, let's type that in. And then you can just come across to the first web page here, click that, and then it's going to have a button that says add to Chrome. Mine says remove from Chrome because I obviously have it already. So once you've downloaded it, it's going to show up in the top here. DS Amazon Quickview has access to this site. So after you've downloaded it, then it's probably going to ask you to just refresh the page that you're on. So just come across to Amazon or whatever page you're going to be using it on, refresh the page, and then what this one does is it helps you see the rankings of books without having to actually go into the listing. So a lot of you probably use this one already, so I'm just going to do a really quick example of how this works. Okay, so as we can see here, as I type in Keto Cookbook, what we can see is that it displays the ranking of the book directly underneath the thumbnail of the listing instead of us having to actually go into the listing to check the ranking. So what we'd usually do without this extension is come into the listing, go all the way down here and check the ranking here. Whereas with this extension, it just shows us on the front page so that we can just do our niche research super quick without having to waste time going into the listing. And this saves you a ton of time when it comes to finding books within the ranking that we're looking for. Okay, so for example, if you were trying to confirm a niche, then you could just come across to Amazon, type it in here, scroll through the listings, and if they're all saying 1 million on the front page, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, over 1 million, then of course you're going to know to avoid that niche and you won't have to keep going in to every single listing. Okay, so my next favorite for keyword research is AMZ Suggestion Expander, as we can see at the top right here. So what this one does is it gives you more suggestions in Amazon's search bar. So typically when you start typing something into Amazon, you're only going to see this column here, the white column on the side here. But with this tool, what it does is it brings up a ton more on the right hand side here. So for example, if I'm typing in keto here, what we're going to see on the left hand side is what we'd usually see: keto diet book, keto cookbook, etc., etc. But with this tool, we get these extra 2 or 3 sections here, 3 or 4 sections that give us some more suggestions of what people are actively searching for. So this is why this is such a great tool, is because it shows what people are actually searching for, and you can get yourself a ton of niche ideas. So for example, if we didn't have this tool on, we'd be looking through here and our niche research would end pretty much with nothing here. But if we have this tool on, we can see all these suggestions here, and already I can see one that is quite interesting for me, which is keto for vegetarians. So that's already helped us niche down, and then we can go on and take our niche research from there with this new keyword, keto for vegetarians. Okay, and same as before, you just go over to Google, type in AMZ Suggestion Expander, add it to your Chrome or Microsoft Edge, refresh the page, come back to Amazon, and then it's going to let you start using it on Amazon's search bar here. Okay, so those two tools are my absolute favorite when it comes to your keyword research and your niche research. Now, it is to be noted here, and I actually meant to say this at the start of the video, but these extensions, they do not replace your brain. Okay, so these do not decide the niche for you. They just help point you into a certain direction, and then of course you need to use your brain from there on to decide whether this is going to be a good niche for you or not. Okay, and I do find if you ever use these extensions that actually tell you how competitive a certain keyword is, I'm sure that you've seen them or you've been using them, that a lot of the time you can't actually find books that aren't considered competitive, and you end up just kind of getting disheartened because it seems that every single niche that you enter is actually overly competitive and you end up not doing anything. So when it comes to niche research, this is the two that I use, the two main ones. And other than that, the next tool that I've been using is Helium 10. Now this is typically a paid software, but I only use the free version of it, and I kind of use this mainly to help me confirm whether a niche, a keyword, is good to go, whether it's got traffic going to it or not. And I do use it sometimes to try and help myself niche down, find better keywords and all those good things. So for example here, if we come across to Helium 10 here, obviously I'm on the free one. As you can see, I got the option to upgrade, and on this you get like 3 searches a day for each tool that you can use. So the first one that I like to use here is keyword research on the left here. So just click that and it's going to bring you Cerebro, Magnet and Misspellinator, whatever that says. But the one that I like to use the most is Magnet. So let's click that. And what this is going to do is going to give you some keyword ideas. So if you found a good niche and you think that you need some keywords for it, or you're not sure which keyword is the strongest one for you to use, then you can use Magnet to try and help you decide. So let me give you a quick example here. If I was going for a keto cookbook for seniors, I could just type that in here, then click on get keywords, and of course that's going to use up one of my free searches for the day. And what we can see is that this is going to bring back a list of related keywords that are being searched for on Amazon. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I think people make when it comes to using any sort of software is they kind of take it for gospel. And for example, if you take a look at this and you see keto women here, and it says there's no search volume, or it can't produce any search volume for it, that definitely doesn't mean that there's no search volume going to the words keto women on Amazon. Okay, so I tend to, for the most part, I do ignore a lot of the numbers that come with these softwares, and I'm also just use these keyword phrases to give me more ideas for niches as well. So for example, keto for women over 50 here could be a good one. So if you see a keyword like this in Helium 10 that says keto women over 50 and it doesn't bring back any search volume, what we can do is just copy that and paste it into Amazon. And this is where I'm talking about using your brain, because what we're doing at the moment on Helium 10 here is letting Helium 10 decide that maybe this isn't a good keyword because it doesn't appear to have anything in this search volume section. So if we come across back to Amazon and use our brain and actually do the research ourselves and see what's happening on Amazon with this niche, what we'll be able to find here is that there are plenty of keto books for women over 50 that are selling really, really well. So like this one, for example, is independently published, very recent, and it's ranked 6,000 in the UK store, which is incredibly good. We have another one here, Keto Diet for Women Over 50, ranked 217 in the UK store, independently published. It's a recent book. Hardly any reviews on these. This is a good niche. And the problem with not using your brain and letting these softwares decide for you is that you could come across this this phrase here and you could miss out on a really good niche because you're trusting software more than your own mind. Okay, but for sure, Helium 10 is a really great piece of software, and there are much more things that you can do on it than what I'm showing you at the moment. So for example, if we found this keto for women over 50 cookbook and we were interested in it, what we could do is actually use the Cerebro tool here on the keyword research section of Helium 10. So let's just go down to Cerebro here, and what we can do is to just copy this person's ASIN number into Cerebro and then click on get keywords, which I've already done for this book, and it's going to bring back a load of keywords that are associated with this good selling book. So this is really quite a useful piece of software to be using to find keywords that are relevant to this book. Okay, so when it comes to you creating your title, your subtitle, or putting your back-end keywords into your Amazon listing, you could be using some of these keywords to put in as well to drive more traffic to your product. Okay, so the next thing that I like to do on Helium 10 is to try and help myself confirm that there is traffic going to a certain niche that I'm interested in. So for example, if we were using the keto for women over 50 niche, what we could do is just come across, I like to just come across to home here on Helium 10, and that then brings up this research a keyword section. I like to pretty much always use .com because it's the most, it's the biggest marketplace, and then we could just type our keyword in here. So our keyword phrase was keto for women over 50, and then search that. Okay, so this brings up some relevant keywords here. And as I can see, we have keto diet for women over 50, keto for women over 50 here, which has 630 and 568. So this is where it could come to help you actually decide on what keyword phrase to use for the title of your book. So if I typed in keto for women over 50, and it brings back this here, keto for women over 50. But what I can see is that keto diet for women over 50 actually has slightly more search volume than keto for women over 50. So the only thing they've done is include the word diet in here, and it appears to be getting more search volume. Okay, so that could be a tool that you can use to help you decide what you're going to be using for your titles, and to also confirm that there is traffic going to these niches. Now, I don't know for sure where this data comes from. And like I said, again, you do need to use your own brain here and not just rely on what other tools are telling you, okay? But after putting all these factors together, we could go ahead and we could say that maybe keto for women, keto diet for women over 50 is a good keyword phrase, and it's going to be a good niche for us to target, okay? So when it comes to number of competing products on software like this, I tend to let Amazon tell me if I'm able to fit into the market. Now, I have plenty of videos regarding niche research, and if you're interested, you can go and find them on my channel. But for the most part, I won't ever let software tell me how competitive a market is, because I think there's too many factors involved with decision making there, okay? Okay, so that's Helium 10, and I think it's really handy. You should give it a go if you're looking to just kind of get some inspiration, get some confirmation of your niches. Again, it's not to be used as something to tell you 100% whether it's a niche that you should enter or not. It's just there to help you out, okay? Okay, so the next extension that I am using is called ColorZilla. So that's ColorZilla. So I do actually use this quite a lot when it comes to creating my covers and what you can do with ColorZilla. And there are many other sort of color picker extensions out there that you can use. I think this just happened to be the first one that I downloaded. Let's say something here that I wanted to make sure was the exact same color as something over here. So what I would do is I'd come up to ColorZilla, then I click on Page Color Picker Active, click that, and then I could just go ahead and click on the color that I want to copy. So this purple color here, click that, and that color, and that copies the code for that color into my clipboard. And then what I can do when it comes to Canva especially is just come to the color that I want to change, go up here and change the color, and then I can just paste in the code for that exact color, and it's going to change it to match the one that I wanted. Okay, so I use that mainly for making covers, or helping me out with certain things on covers, should I say. Okay, so the next one that I use is Grammarly. So that's Grammarly, and for some reason it is considered an extension. But if I come up to the extension for Grammarly here and I click it, and it takes me to this page here where I'm actually able to spell check a lot of my work. And then if we just click on new here, we can go ahead and spell check some of our documents. So this is quite handy when it comes to having work back from your outsourcers, or when you're trying to spell check something in your description or title for your book. So you would copy and paste it into here, and then Grammarly will let you know whether there's any spelling errors on the right hand side, as you can see here. Okay, so it's very, very handy. Again, it's not something you could just automatically do. You do need to go through all your work and check it yourself to make sure it makes sense and flows properly, because Grammarly is not going to do that for you 100%. It definitely helps with spelling errors, but in terms of the flow and the accuracy of the information of the document, then that's something you need to get right yourself. Okay, so that's it for this much shorter video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you think these tools are going to help you out, feel free to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. There's plenty more on the way soon.